Oh, yeah. Rock it.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to this Friday night show. It will be LSU Odyssey joined by Darius Geaux, former LSU running back icon, who had a fall from grace, allegations, arrests, things that he hasn't been able to say his side of the story publicly yet. We want to give him that opportunity. Not unchallenged, though. Not unchallenged. But in the issue of fairness, does Darius Geaux deserve a chance at a comeback? The viewers will be able to decide by the end of this show. And we're waiting for Darius to join us. Hopefully he will. He has the link. There have been a few times he has had cold feet. Let's hope that is not this time again. Anyway, literally, I am wearing one of my man Cordale's shirts. Blood, Sweat, and Tears. The black and purple absolutely looks so sick. You'd think black and purple, it's not really going to stand out, right? You could see this from a mile away, like across the store or something, like looking at somebody across the stadium, looking at someone. You would be able to really see that blood, these letters kind of chiseled out of there. I love it. Excellent craftsmanship. Go get those shirts. CordaleMusic.com. CordaleMusic.com. Is that I feel bad. I think that, does he have that? Yes, he does. His site's back up. Okay. Um, let's add that link. Yeah, waiting for Darius, guys. He told us in direct messages that he was not only like, hey, we can do an interview, but I'm not going to answer any questions about the allegations and stuff. He actually said, I can't wait to talk about this, and I'm going to go. I want to talk about this. He really seemed asserted that he wanted to face some things head on, and I don't know which way that was going to be going. And so I really would love to get a chance to talk to Darius this on the record, really, because that's the thing is I've been talking to Darius for some time, but that's private and that's going to stay private. That's how I run my show. But I really want him to be on the record to the fans, to the people who, maybe there's some haters, a lot of haters actually. Maybe there's some fans, still some supporters. Um, but I think it is an opportunity for Darius to have a fair shot to at least speak for himself on the allegations, to the LSU records being taken, his friendship with Dwayne Haskins in Washington, and losing a friend. We were going to cover a lot of ground, so much ground, being recruited by Frank Wilson and seeing him go really quick at LSU. If you know even just a little bit about Darius, you know that he had he did not have it easy. And so I would love to get him on the record to really, for people to kind of maybe get a better definitive picture of the man, and kind of solve the puzzle here, because everyone wants to know what's going on and what's up with him. And I would hope that he would show up, but you know what, hmm. Here's the thing: we're gonna be fair, but we're also going to ask tough questions, so we're not going to let just anything fly. I don't know. Maybe this was not a good idea. Maybe this was not worth pursuing. I don't know. I just thought that there was some value to this conversation potentially, especially since former LSU Tiger. Um, one of the, I mean, really, let's be honest, one of the best LSU running backs of the 21st century, at least. If you're being honest, talent alone, on-field abilities alone, you're not talking about character or any of the question marks that some people have, or many people have, variety of people have. I mean, we weren't going to be able to do an interview without going through the elephants in the room, though, talking about the allegations, the arrests, the charges, the obvious things. I understand why he would feel like, you know what, maybe not. I understand why he'd feel, okay, that'd be cool to do an interview, but you know what, now I understand this might, okay, no, like, I get it. No harm, no foul, like, for me. Like, I don't take this type of stuff personally. If you guys only knew how many interviews we have had set up ready to be done. We're right there on the doorstep. Oh, and then it just something goes on with that guy with the guy. There's some type of scheduling thing, and then there's times it can take forever to get somebody on the show. We're just not that high on the totem pole of for guests, wanting to come onto the show. So it can be a little bit tough, and so I get it. We have been trying to get this interview done for years with Darius, talking to him and trying to figure out, like, how did this happen? How did, like, you had injuries, but so what? You're only 26, 27. You should be at the prime of your career right now in the NFL. How did we get here? Like, that's a question everybody has. I don't know. He has the link. I don't think I don't know. I don't think he'll be joining us though. So this is kind of we might as well change this into a different show. LSU Vanderbilt. LSU Vanderbilt. Everyone's so caught up in the Bryce Underwood thing. No one's really even rebounded yet. Have the players been able to move on? Have the players been able to get through this week relatively unscathed and like, hey, we're gonna move forward. We're gonna go forth here and get, punish the shit out of Vanderbilt like we should, and beat the crap out of Oklahoma like we should, and finish the season off right. 8-4. There's a big difference between 8-4 and 6-6, especially in this position where you can argue Harold Perkins went down, Jacobian Gillen went down, John Emery Jr. went down. We didn't have Zy Alexander for multiple games early, including the USC game. Like, you could go through a laundry list of reasons why LSU have 4 losses. But you've really seen an amalgamation of just one bad thing after another. I mean, we thought the offensive line was going to be the saving grace for this team. And then you move a few guys in there because you lose Dellinger, and then you lost Frazier for a little bit at one point too. And now you have DJ Chester this whole season at redshirt freshman center. No other option at center, replacing Charles Turner, who'd been there for multiple years and was fantastic. Big shoes to fill. No other option on roster. No one to really push him to elevate his game, like get the best out of him. I'm not saying he rested on his laurels and took that he was going to start at center for granted, and that they didn't really have a better option. But you have to you have to create those competitive environments, or else you're not going to be able to maximize your guys. And it's just LSU. I see this game as a terrible matchup for where LSU is right now. We would have been better off facing Florida this week than facing Vanderbilt this week, because we've already lost 3 in a row, lost 4 total games, run into the ground, mentally exhausted, physically exhausted, drained. The media is asking way too many questions. The media is writing their narratives. They're carving up Kelly because of Bryce Underwood leaving too. The team, the locker room, is there the locker room collapsing? Is the locker room, is Kelly lost the locker room? The questions just swirling, whether he has or not. The questions will be swirling, and it's just LSU have to win a game and stop all of this bleeding. And really, that's all, as simple as it is. if LSU can just beat the crap out of Vandy, like say LSU beat Vanderbilt by 10 to 13 points, you will hear at least a little, just a little about some resilience there from Coach Brian Kelly. You know, like that's how you know he's been doing this for how many years, you know, like you'll hear something like that. But really the reason why LSU will beat Vanderbilt if they do will be really a lot of luck, a lot of survival, a lot of things like the Ole Miss game. Because I could be wrong, but I see Diego Pavia, this Vanderbilt team, Eli, is it Eli Howe? Their tight end. Let's go back to our this Bryce Underwood thing completely like wiped like everything from our brains. We thought all of our big assignments for the day were done with getting all the Vanderbilt stuff, and then this LSU looking to retain key veterans article that we also wrote. We'll put that on the screen as well. We thought we were, oh, you know what, this is great. We're actually done. We got all this stuff done. And then, boom, someone was like, watch out for this. Bryce Underwood's going to flip. No, he's not. I didn't believe that for the last few days. Someone was telling me Bryce Underwood's going to flip to Michigan. He's going to flip to Michigan. I'm like, no, he's not. Dude, it's this much money. It's $12 million. But yeah, right, yeah. And then we see it. It was confirmation that it was raised. It was kind of like, this says we've already seen these figures with Miami, with some of these teams, with Texas. You know, of course he's going to garner this figure. And it's just like, did LSU have that chance to match, or were they left at the altar? Shea Dixon reported that they're pretty much left at the altar. And I believe his reporting over anybody's when it comes to recruiting. Yes, a lot of the indications were very positive for LSU keeping Bryce Underwood. The reason LSU were not able to keep Bryce Underwood, it's a money thing, but it's also like everything that goes with that money thing. The people wielding those swords, the people wielding that influence, the environment that you will be around, and just the distance as well. You just see so many times when if we would have gotten Bryce Underwood over the line, he comes to campus. He doesn't just transfer after his first year or something like that and flame out, go somewhere else and try again. But like really stays at LSU, that has a hell of a career. It would have been so rare as Nussmeier staying like he did, because you took another kid from another state and you had his commitment for 11 months. You get it for 12 basically, and then you seal the commitment right at the end. You close. That's incredible, and LSU really got up to that doorstep to be able to pull it off. Just like Colin Simmons, there's just no money to match this insane, great money god Satan thing, and it's impossible to tell these people, don't say yes to $10.5 million. We'll pay you later. You can't tell these people, don't do that. You can't tell these families, because really that's the thing. That's another key word here, family. The family. Like Brian Kelly, his staff, they have to do better with the parents and the families. We know this. We've seen evidence of this for years. It's more really about Brian Kelly specifically. A lot of his staff people, whether that's support staff, recruiting staff, coaches, do a fantastic job with the parents. So I should have changed kind of amend that verbiage, but it's more Kelly we've seen or heard about. I mean, not even meeting Malik Neighbors' mom. What, like, that's kind of weird. It's kind of crazy. But it's just kind of impersonal stuff. So LSU really have some issues off the field that is just, it's distracting like crazy. And how much is the message going to penetrate when Brian Kelly is talking to the team tonight? Ramping him up, trying to ramp him up, trying to, what's he going to say? What's he going to go up there and honestly say? What's the energy going to be like? What's the vibe going to be like in that team talk? You don't see footage coming out of all this stuff right now from LSU Gold, right? I mean, if you do, it's probably cookie cutter stuff because, people are posting stuff like culture's fucked and stuff like that. And then, quickly having to take it down. People are getting pissed off at them for speaking their mind. It's like, if you want to tell the players to shut up and to stop speaking out that the culture sucks, even though that's been the reason Kelly was hired, was to repair the culture, then maybe how about you focus on repairing the fucking culture and trying to repair the media that's actually like being a voice for the players, and whether that's social media, that's their own accounts, or themselves pressing send, or them doing what they did with us a week ago and telling us certain things and having us put it out there, which we quickly deleted because it was just so gossip column-y. Even though it was accurate, it was true, it was what was said, it was just not, it was slimy stuff, and it was not okay. Because it was the opinions of a few people that made it seem like this is the accepted narrative. The second I posted it, I'm like, oh shit, oh fuck, this is going to be taken like this. And then quickly, I had a few people hit me up on a few sites saying, take this down for this. And, it's just, I don't think a post about the culture being screwed up is going to, like, damage the locker room. But what's going to damage the locker room is that you keep losing games, you keep playing like shit, you look really weak on the field, you get beaten up on the field physically, you get owned on the field mentally, dominated. They outsmart you. They get you to bite, they get you to fly in over aggressively and just absolutely shred you, whether that's on the ground, through the air. LSU needs playmakers on the field, guys who can buy you time, keep you in the game, keep us in the game, whether that's getting past breakups, jarring that ball loose. Make someone who actually goes up there and knocks the shit out of somebody like JV and Tobiano, because we know he can lay some hits. He's the only dude. He had the only tackle for loss against Alabama, JV and Tobiano, and that was off the bench way late in that game. Kylan Jackson has barely played in 2 seasons at LSU. He's barely played. He's played like 68 snaps, I think it was. Deshaun Womack has only played exactly 100 snaps in 2 seasons at LSU. And, his havoc creation rate is pretty damn good. Man, I am really disappointed that Darius Geis has not shown up. This is really... Darius, I know you're probably watching this. How could you just, like, bail on me like this, man? You've got the link. Come on, man. Like, if you don't want to get into all that stuff, that's fine. Like, but it's a dishonest interview, and we're gonna, that's fine if you don't want to do the interview, then. But like, it won't be fair to the people, honest to the people, if we don't go to get into those subjects. Man, well, you have a game here that, where is the energy? This was an SEC doormat, this team. Seriously, Vanderbilt. The upset over Alabama was absolutely no fluke. What they've done. Eli Stowers, that's the tight end who's going to be a really big mismatch against us. But Pavia, 15 touchdowns through the air, 3 picks, and then he also leads Vandy in rushing, 628, 5 rushing touchdowns. This guy isn't, Jalen Milroe fast, okay? But he's a smart runner. He's going to identify spaces and gaps. Oh, that's a free 6 yards, and then get out of bounds and avoid a hit or slide. I'm going to go do that. And usually, Pavia actually draws penalties with these like late hits and things like that. He's really sneaky and smart about how like he'll make it look like he's going out of bounds, but to the ref, but then make it look like he's still going to be going for something to the opponent, and they'll always cheap shot him. Every time I've watched Vanderbilt, he earns a cheap shot penalty. So he's a very crafty, very smart, intelligent player. And he's a kid that I'm worried about because he just extends plays and then kills you, whether it's through the air, and it's just been very effective, very efficient, or on the ground, and he's just really dominating you. And it's becoming a clock controlling thing like they did against Alabama, where they absolutely dominated and controlled them. God damn it. I cannot believe Darius Geis just like backed out like that. Come on, man. And I will not. Here's the thing. I am not going to let people think that I am making this up. This is the only part I will show. That's him saying postpone. That's me right after I drop my son off, like 40 minutes away. I said, seriously, man? Nah, bro, we're doing this. Okay. He said, I'm like scared, not ready to be on the news and shit again. I understand that. Sorry, Darius, I had to show the people that because you won't come on here and say that you won't be coming on. I understand that. But I had to at least show the people that, that's why you're not going to be coming on. But, wow, yeah, we might as well change the name of this thing to just LSU Odyssey Live. Right. Like, this would be so, like, I guarantee you, watch now, Darius will join us, like, halfway through this. Darius Geis will just suddenly come out of nowhere and be like, hey, let's do the show. I don't know. I thought this could be a possibility. I thought maybe he would come on, maybe he wouldn't. He's had cold feet before. It's not really gonna, like, there's still so many questions with the whole thing that I don't know. I until I hear it from him, until I have that conversation with him, it's kind of like, you can't get mad at people for thinking certain things. This is all they know. This is all they're hearing. This is all that's being said. So if there is something different, if there is an innocence, if there is some other side to this, I am being fair and honest and open with you in exactly how I want to do this and the questions we will be giving towards you, and you understood that. So I'm sorry, everybody. It seems like it won't happen. You just saw the proof of that with the messages. I don't know what to think about the whole thing. Maybe that was, I don't know. That was crazy. Guess he doesn't want to do it. I'm really wondering if maybe if you just had Toviano back there and say Sage Ryan, would that balance actually work? Would that actually get the best out of the two? Or why hasn't Jordan Allen been playing at all? He got hurt early in the season, I understand, but that was like 5-6 weeks ago. Where he hasn't been on the injury report, right? I don't think he's been back on it. So where is he? Deshaun Spears, we know, is not hurt. He's just not playing. Deshaun Spears hasn't been perfect either. I mean, he gave up the game-winning touchdown against USC. The guy ran right past him, right through him. He couldn't even slow the dude down. So, it's just more about let's invest in those type of guys right now, accept their mistakes right now, let them play through those mistakes right now in a wasted, lost season. And then these won't be wasted, lost reps where Major Burns gets to start and play for 90 snaps, 80 snaps again. That's a little. We will look back and see these types of things and be like, Jesus, when you had this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy on this team, and you let this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy play all these snaps over them. It's incredible. You can fill in the blanks there of the players I'm talking about, but I think we all can kind of understand who those have been, especially in 2023 when this was really the biggest issues were happening with defensive personnel selection. I mean, but then you look at this season and let's be real about something too. Let's be very real about something too. This is the stark, cold truth. Stark, cold, hard truth, okay? I love what Blake Baker's bringing into the house on defense, right? I love what Blake Baker is building there. I hope he stays for like 4 or 5 years because he relates to the kids, and it seems like he's gotten more from this unit than he should have, right? Especially with the injuries he's dealt with. And they were definitely not helped out by an offense that collapsed in on itself. No defense in the world is going to be helped out by an offense doing that. No defense, especially against the run game, because you're just exhausted. You go out there and you try playing that. It's no. But it took them until Harold Perkins tore his ACL to get Whit Weeks on the field in he not only a starting position, but someone who played more than 26 snaps in a game. That's the reality. As much as I love that, that's just, what are you doing? That's just bad personnel identification once again from an LSU coach on a Brian Kelly LSU staff. And it doesn't mean that, Brian Kelly is done. We're screwed. There's a lot of weird smoke and mirrors right now as far as Brian Kelly and what's going to happen with his future here at LSU, because there's so much, damn it, 61 million plus like all of the staff you're going to have to bring in or replace, all of the movement that might potentially happen. You're talking $200 million really needed to do this. Maybe even more when you're talking about paying guys more to keep them on the squad. or keep them out of the draft and wait to find out who they're going to hire. And then talking about paying the replacement as well, it's astronomical how much money it would cost LSU to do that. They're basically financially married to Brian Kelly, unless one eventuality occurred, and that's Brian Kelly left. And if Brian Kelly leaves, where would he go? When would he go? And I think we know why he would go. But I don't understand. Yes, LSU have lost 4 games this season. LSU have lost 3 games this season. Did you ever think Brian Kelly would ever go through a season at LSU and not he would win double-digit wins every single season? Did you really think that would happen? I mean, it's not like he comes in here and just flips a wand. The fact that he had double-digit wins in his first year, and then beats Alabama, gets us to the SEC championship game, come back against Ole Miss, all this stuff. You beat Auburn on the road. You beat Florida on the road that first year. Brian Kelly did so many things that passed the test and the eye test and rose him to the status of the next great college football coaches who could challenge Saban and then even beat Saban. Okay? But now, where the hell are we? Where the hell is this team? What is going on here? Because I understand you lose 3 or 4 games in a season. That's not what the fans, that's not what the alums are disturbed by. The team themselves, more than anybody, are disturbed by. It's the fact that there's a collective unconsciousness, asleep at the wheel, a lack of just like someone else will figure this shit out, not me. Blame someone else. There's a coordinator Kelly has sacrificed and blamed every single season. One of his best friends, Brian Polian, sacrifices him. Special teams, you're out. Okay. You're the reason we lost games. Maybe that's correct. I think it was. But at the same time, Kelly's complete lack of judgment and fear to not have Frank Wilson be your director of recruiting. You literally have Brian Polian, your director of recruiting. What kind of world? It's insane that we were able to get Frank Wilson to even agree to that. But, he has Frank take over that job. Frank immediately stops going all over to these weird parts of the country, like going and recruiting a linebacker in Utah and stuff like that. And, a corner in Vegas and stuff, like you're actually going to be, more rooted to Louisiana. And then you sprinkle in a bit of Texas, a bit of Georgia, some Mississippi, get a guy from Alabama even, you're talking about the Southeast. Florida, of course, especially Florida talent always. But that's really what you're talking about. You're not going all over the country. Frank Wilson, perfect hire to replace him. But then, of course, that next year, 2023, Matt House was an easy scapegoat. Terrible, terrible defense, program low. But here's the thing. When Brian Kelly can go up to the podium and say, we're going to fix our defense, and he never really blamed Matt House, and he never really shit on Matt House. And that is the problem. Kelly literally would sit there going like this and just stare at the field while House would do the same stupid shit over and over and over and over and over, and never challenge him. Never say, I'm about to take this headset and shove it up your ass if you don't literally stop, playing Omar Spates over Whit Weeks. If you literally put Major Burns in coverage on, or even on the field one more time, it's just, instead it looks like this was a chance for a monumental seismic payday. a chance to coach in the SEC, a chance to rub shoulders with the best of the best, maybe beat a couple. How driven is Brian Kelly, though? There's so much good we've seen from this program from Kelly. There's so much trending in the right direction. But over this last month, it has literally been a quicksand. You lose the number 1 overall commit, a quarterback who is the future of the program. That's no hyperbole. You would love if Nussmeier stayed next year no matter what. It'd be great if Nussmeier goes out on a high, winning big time, sets a stage for Bryce for the next 3 years, something special where it's turning into a dynasty now, where you got Burrow as one of the great quarterbacks, JD5 is one of the great quarterbacks, Nuss now one of the great quarterbacks, and then Bryce comes in as one of the great quarterbacks. But Bryce gone. You now shouldn't be so depressed, though. Yes, it sucks to lose Bryce Underwood. You want to have as much talent on one roster as possible, especially at the best, position, the position that touches the football the most, like quarterback. Because you have a young man named Colin Hurley. I shouldn't even call it a young man. He is literally, is he even 17? I think Colin Hurley is someone who can really do something at the quarterback position in the future for LSU. Also, we haven't even thought about this young man as a quarterback. We thought of him as a DB. We thought of him as a running back this season because of team need. But Juwan Johnson broke all sort of Louisiana High School's Football Association records for yards, touchdowns. I'm trying to remember what were all those records, but Juwan Johnson was an absolute freak. Let's see here. A dual threat freak as well. Juwan Johnson had a record, Louisiana prep history, had the most productive high school quarterback in Louisiana prep history, with a record of 14,451 total yards and 171 total touchdowns. Also a state record. 2023 Louisiana Mr. Football, of course. He was an absolute freak. An absolute madman. What he did what he did in the Superdome, in the state title games for LCA was unreal. Just passing the ball like just dots everywhere. And then just running like an absolute warrior through teams, around, under, over, whatever it took. Juwan Johnson was an absolute animal. So you could literally run a 2-quarterback system in a way. You have Juwan Johnson in the backfield as a running back already. You don't even put, hey, everybody, Juwan Johnson's going to be a quarterback. Blah, blah. You literally just snap the ball straight to Juwan and let him go taking it, a direct snap right to him with Nuss on the field, pulling off some type of fake. And you set that edge, seal that edge. Because if you put him in the backfield right there, they know what he's going to do. I don't know. There's so many different things you could do and be creative with him. But really, yes, the future is dual threat quarterbacks. That does not mean you have to have someone who can run for 1,000 yards. it's really all about having that running back who can keep the offense ticking and wear down and really break the back of a team running the football. Just killing them. Like 3rd and 6, they have a great blitz. They have great coverage. They're absolutely got you. And you just sneak out because that edge guy just gets lost way to the inside. You just shuffle out there. You just get a little 5-6 yards. You get over. Like that type of stuff kills. Absolutely kills your opponent. If you're tuning in right now, you've obviously can see that it's just me, and Darius Geis was a no-show for our interview. We offered him an opportunity to speak, uninterrupted with fairness, but while being challenged, though, and ask the tough questions. Apparently, something's gone on that's made him not want to do this, and I respect that, I guess, but it feels like there's I don't know. Sucks that it doesn't change the name fully. Let's see what we got. Some of these comments here. CBD says, "We gonna be okay, man." What do you mean? LSU looks like they're in a bad place here, bro. It's not just always we're gonna be okay. Like, we got to talk about the realities here. What's up, Robin Show? How you doing, brother? Selena Paul, what is up? How you doing? I really wish Darius would join us. Skylar Brunson going to be. I know it should have been. Instead, now I'm having to talk about Vanderbilt, which is going to be a weird game. Yeah, CBD. We got to talk about the realities here, and the realities are starkly worrisome because Brian Kelly. You want to believe in the future with Brian Kelly, right? You want to feel like there is a bona fide future, and then right there's Colin Hurley right there in the photo. That's a great photo. You want to feel that this is the future for LSU, but losing 3 or 4 games every season is not as bad, in my opinion, as wasting really good players, wasting really great opportunities, wasting. It just feels like Brian Kelly has wasted a lot of resources chasing after number 1 recruits and things like that, instead of really, we had a fence built around the state of Louisiana. We had that, right? And now it feels like we're losing it because Jakeem, it looks like he's going to be going to where is it, USC or Oregon, probably. Whoever's going to throw the most money and be the craziest with the demands, and Louisiana is where really the best high school football players are usually at, right? If LSU cannot keep them from leaving out of state in their own backyard, not because it's, the DiNardo days and crime was a thing that made people leave, like Warwick Dunn, or just how bad LSU was with quarterback play and offensive play. Um, Even just we're not a winning school. Really down in the dumps. All of those type of things. Instead, now it's, oh, I would love to play football at LSU, but I'm not gonna get all the money and all this stuff, and I'm gonna have to actually earn my celebrity, you know, like the way Joe Burrow and Livy Dunn and Jaden Daniels and Paul Skeens and um, Dylan Cruz and Angel Reese, of course, and Floje. The way they won their celebrity at LSU, and really being like dominators of their entire sport in every single year that they were the crown, that they wore that crown, um, that they were that it person. Every one of those years they were the pinnacle of their sport at LSU, and more often than not champions as well. And so there's been a cycle of success individually and collectively for LSU as an athletics organization, athletics program, and a university. But here's the thing: LSU is the coolest school to go to. You've got all of that swagger, all of that history. Why is this not happening for Brian Kelly? Why, you're not just losing one guy, you're losing like 3 or 4. And is it just not, you're just scared to throw that money around? Because if LSU had an opportunity to match Michigan, and if they had, likely Bryce goes to LSU, and they didn't, then some serious questions need to be answered, because and some serious futures need to be talked about and discussed, because that would just be unacceptable. Tari Love with a great comment here, I think. Tari Love says, Brian Kelly's biggest fear is what's costing him. His fear is choosing experience over talent. Omar Spates over Whit Weeks. Braden Swinson on the bench. You got Ovia Gofu in instead of him. There you go. There's another one. Tari Love continues, says he's in fear that the young talent will cost him games, when in fact it's him not playing the young talent that's costing him games. Oh, God, yes. You've seen Harold Perkins coming in these games, being put on the bench, LSU getting destroyed by Tennessee in 2022. Finally, he puts him on the field against Florida. LSU wins kind of a shootout, but it's because Harold is out there that we win. There have been a ton of really bad mistakes by Brian Kelly. When you're talking about firing and hiring staff-wise, I mean, you hired the guys you fired. I mean, if that, I don't know this for everybody, but I know this for most. He did not even do an interview with you if you were part of the Coach Orgeron regime. You were just gone. Brad Davis, we have to keep him, though, because I'm going to get something big out of him. Like, it was very, very weird. Corey Raymond, for some weird reason, they just thought, oh, who cares of that guy? Maybe if we kept Corey Raymond, that establishment of DBU is still there, where even if LSU weren't winning national championships, we're still putting, guys, top 5 corners in the draft year in, year out. We haven't been doing that for a bit here. And that's literally coinciding with Corey Raymond not being at LSU. You know, you can say whatever you want, but that's really the truth. There's some news I'm sitting on that I just do not want to put out there because it's just, I don't think people can handle it right now. In fact, I know they can't. And it's going to happen in due course anyway. But it's just the loss of Bryce Underwood is very crippling for Brian Kelly and for LSU. It's everything they wanted to avoid, everything they were building, you know. Joe Sloan, you might not like him as a play caller, tough. Bryce Underwood's coming and they're going to win a championship together and he's going to win a fucking Heisman, you know. That's what was the narrative. You don't like Brian Kelly? Well, go to hell. He's going to win national championship. He's bringing the number one quarterback here, you know. You can't say that anymore. You can't, like, there's the fantasy has dissipated, faded fast. I don't even know what to say. Because this game, if LSU lose this game, I really wonder, do those wheels start rolling? Because Scott Woodward has LSU really locked into this contract. I mean, Brian Kelly can basically hold LSU hostage here financially for the next few years. Unless he leaves, unless he goes. And here's the thing. I have heard many times, and this isn't just because, I'm not just saying this because of the events of Bryce Underwood leaving. I'm not just saying this because of the events of whatever else. I'm purely saying this because this is something I've consistently heard time and time again about Brian Kelly and his family. That they do not enjoy living in Louisiana. That is literally what I continue to hear. And that was the conversation that I believe Matt Moscano was having on his show when he said that he felt if Michigan offered Brian Kelly a job, he would take it. I think it would take a hell of a lot for Michigan to fire Sharon Moore, though, you know. Well, let's take a look at some of these injury news about for LSU here. Let me see what. Okay. Garrett Dellinger, it doesn't look like he's going to play, but they really have to push this kid to out there, right? to win this thing, right? You know, like there's just no way that they're going to be able to win this thing with Mbenga in there, right? Are they going to give Garrett Dellinger like a bionic leg? It's crazy how, you know, T-Bob Hebert, who's an offensive line, former LSU offensive lineman, he would know this. He believes LSU have devolved and have lost their offensive mojo in the last 10 quarters, not just because of all the other factors, turnovers and all this other, but really it's the offensive line and losing specifically Garrett Dellinger, and the loss of Garrett Dellinger coinciding with the fall. I mean, he can't be wrong, because you haven't seen it ever be good without him. You saw some games where Garrett Dellinger was kicking ass run blocking. It was usually to the outside in pulling action, pulling motions. But you also saw games where, yes, it did not work at all. And fans just kind of lose their minds, and it all sucks, and they kind of forget kind of the nuances, the dips and the peaks and the valleys over the course of a season. You don't realize that all that stuff matters sometimes, and there's a knock-on effect. Confidence creates confidence. Playing like shit, losing, people saying you guys are garbage and whatever, criticizing you on the internet, it might not affect you one night, it might not affect you 2 nights. Hearing that shit for 4 straight weeks, and it's like as intense as it could ever be. Your coach is going to get fired, or you're going to buy him out millions of dollars. This guy's going to leave here. This guy's going to, oh my God, this guy's falling. Oh my God, this guy's going to go quarterback. Oh my God, we're going to transfer. Oh my God, put in the portal. Oh my God, breaking news. Hayes Fawcett. Like, calm the fuck down. Like, it's about going out there and beating Vanderbilt. Nothing more, nothing less. If LSU can do that, they really buy themselves a chance to breathe here. You lose to Vanderbilt, this will be such a catastrophe. I don't think you will hear the end of it. Like, I have it predicted that LSU will lose 37-34. That is my prediction. LSU lose 37-34. And it's not because I want LSU to lose. It's not because I hope LSU loses. Of course I want LSU to fucking win. Stop the bleeding. Of course. But I cannot trust that offensive line right now until I see something different. I cannot trust that defensive line right now. They're getting absolutely ran through. The safeties at the back end, burnt over the top, absolutely just taking the worst angles against the run game. Nowhere to be found. Can't slow anyone down, even just get in their way. They're scared to tackle. There's a fear factor there from the safeties. Not everybody, but for most. And it seems like the worse you are, the more you play. It's just LSU has been bad at safety for years. Bad at safety for years. It's been 5 years LSU have been shit at safety. Since Delpit won the Thorpe Award with LSU, we've been shit at safety. How is that possible? How is that possible? Well, you think about it, and it's like Bill Bush was our safeties coach. There was no longevity there. No plan for longevity there. Like, Coach O built that 2019 renegade mercenary squad and staff. They were a pre-NIL, pre-COVID, super kind of team of that era, predating it already. Think about it. Most of those guys opted out the next year. You know, it's very interesting. It's very interesting how that 2019 season went, but staff-wise, you were thinking we're going to be built for the longevity with Joe Brady, Steve Ensminger, a great duo there. Nope. Instantly, Brady's gone. There's never a bridge. LSU always were having to react very quickly and having to rush a hire, or thought that they had to rush a hire, or screwed up the rush hire, or I mean, Jake Peets, Jesus, Coach O. If you've tuned in right now wondering what the hell I'm doing just standing here alone, it's because I've been left to look like a dumbass by Darius Geis, who is too scared to come on the show, as he texted me. We showed that text earlier. And we're not trying to get on someone's wrong side. We literally just wanted to prove to our own audience that we're not lying to them, that he got cold feet, not us canceling anything. We were prepared. You saw the evidence of that. When we tell you something, it is the truth. We're not going to screw with our audience. And maybe that's why this show did not go forward, because maybe there was something that he just could not answer. You know, would you rather have Brian Kelly leave right now and LSU start all over? Or would you rather see out the Brian Kelly era and kind of see where this goes? What is your preferred direction there? And I want to show you this video of Stephen A. Smith right after, but definitely answer. I'm going to post that question. Type that one up.
Star quarterback Bryce Underwood, the #1 prospect in the 2025 ESPN 300 recruiting rankings, has flipped his commitment from LSU to Michigan. Go Blue. He confirmed on social media Thursday. RC, how are you feeling about your
Actually, so what's crazy is I came out of 7-on-7 coaching retirement for Bryce Underwood. I coached the team this summer because he was going to be the quarterback. I've seen Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, you name it. Jaden Daniels. At this age, he's better than every single one of them.
Wow.
The way he throws the football, the way he moves, the way he leads, the sort of kid that he is. I was excited about what LSU could be in the future because of him. Partly, this is on Brian Kelly and what's happened at LSU throughout this season. And I also think another big piece of it is if you're Michigan and you don't have a quarterback and you have that offense looking the way that it is, you can't let him get out of that state. And I believe that money talks and bullcrap walk. And that's why he won't be walking to LSU.
Let me say this. I think Brian Kelly's in a world of trouble at LSU.
Yeah.
I think that this is the kind of situation right here that can cost him his job because we saw them get wrong on national television by Alabama. We've seen them look like a shell of themselves. They've already got 3 losses or so on the season. And then to lose a top recruit, you didn't lose it to Kirby Smart.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't lose it to Primetime. You lost it to Sharon Moore at Michigan. That ain't Jim Harbaugh coaching at Michigan. Moore, no disrespect to him, but I'm like, wait a minute. It's not about who, just the prospect that you lost. It's who you lost them to. And that is an indictment against Brian Kelly and what is happening at LSU. I think it is official. Brian Kelly is in a world of trouble at LSU.
He's also from Michigan?
He's from Detroit. He's also been committed to LSU. He's been committed to LSU since he was a sophomore. The entire team he put together this summer was put together around him with LSU commits and other LSU recruits. This kid was leading the charge for what the 2025 committed scholarships was going to be. And so this is huge.
Not good.
I'd want to play in front of my hometown. I'm happy he went to
teammate with
Nobody care about his teammate, L.
Okay.
He could have came to LSU.
He's from Detroit. He
doesn't matter. A lot of people don't want to play in front.
Incredibly damning words from Stephen A. Smith there. Basically saying Brian Kelly's cooked. People keep referencing the kid took $12.5 million, you know. Good for him. The kid took $12.5 million. Nothing wrong with LSU. They just got outbid. Kid took $12.5 million, even though we told you all along he loved LSU and wanted to go to LSU because he loved LSU more than Michigan. LSU could develop him better than Michigan. The reason that this has happened is because maybe Bryce Underwood saw through Brian Kelly. Maybe he saw through the whole thing and said, you guys need me desperately. I thought this was I needed you. But now I kind of get what this whole thing is about here. You need me to save your job. I'm not going to sacrifice my career and put my career on the line for your week to week, have to save face in the press conference every week, type of decision making. It's got to be someone else's fault so you get the different questions. The questions never come to you. That's the thing. There's a lot of time the questions should be right at Brian Kelly, and they're always at somebody else or about something else. It's very strange. It's like they're afraid to ask a question. Jacques Doucet hasn't. Jacques Doucet has actually been very bold about doing that. Michael Cobble has been really good too. So credit for those two. But let's face it, even while doing that, still very polite and still very pro Kelly. I'm absolutely embarrassed about tonight that someone would just set this up, go to all the trouble of setting this up, allowing us to promote it, all this stuff, which made me kind of feel like no matter what, they were going to be there. And then to back out at the last second like that, not cool, not cool. Especially when you get my audience going. You get my audience wanting a show with you talking on it, which we have promised, and now we look bad. You made us look bad, Darius. We look bad because of this move by you to not come on the show. You know what? I just thought of something. Maybe that answers the question right there. I am disgusted. I'm sorry. I'm kind of pissed. This is my day off with my son, and I just ran him to some friend of Chelsea's to be watched while I did the show. That was a major bitch because the house is way crazy deep in the jungles of Salt Lake. But the thing that really bothers me the most is my audience. I feel like my audience has been lied to about this show happening, and then you weren't just retweeting the post of it. You were posting back and forth replies to people. This was something that you had participated in just as much as I was, and was pushing just as much as I was. And I think it's a really big shame that it didn't happen. I think it's a big lost opportunity on your part. You're not gonna get fairness, and you're not gonna get the type of treatment you would get from me from other people in the media. Let's put it that way. Other people in the media are way too politically correct and way too afraid of what other people think about them. They would never give you the space to even be on this show. Just for being willing to give you a voice. I've had people coming at me and saying all sorts of terrible stuff about me. And I thought, maybe this was a chance that you could show the world the side that no one had seen, and maybe help yourself, dig yourself out of the hole. I don't understand it. There's a lot of people watching right now. A lot of people watching. We now just hit over the 500 mark on YouTube alone. That doesn't even count how many are watching on Twitter. Usually we get more on Twitter even. So a big audience of Tiger fans, and Darius Geis nowhere to be found because I don't think he was ready for the questions. Even though we told him what was going to be asked, he knew we were going to ask and talk about all those allegations, arrests, all those things. He knew it. He knew what to expect. He can't claim he was I was blindsided. I didn't know you were going to ask about the allegations. You actually said, I want to talk about that stuff. Blah, 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 blah. So I really don't know what to say. I'm not going to say any more because it's a private matter from here on forward. If he's not speaking on the record, it's sealed now. So I guess what an opportunity he had to actually speak to the fans, the fan base, and actually say what what he did, what he didn't do. I don't get it. I mean, I get it. Of course I get it. You know, he's a Steve. Sorry, guys. We got to blow our nose. Heartless Bert says, what happened? What? I don't know why people, like, don't use past tense or what happened. It's what happened. It's very strange. But what happened was Darius Geis was too scared to come on the show. Verbatim, he actually texted me that I'm too scared. Like, he literally said that. I don't understand why, because we would have been fair. Exactly everything I told him in private was exactly how we were going to do it. To anyone that I discussed the interview about, I discussed it the exact same way I discussed it to Darius. Like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna counter your claims if there's things that don't match the evidence or things that don't match the actual factual outcomes, things like that. And he was down for that. He accepted that. He was ready for that, he said. And this is like what, second time, third time officially maybe that this has happened where it was going to go down and then did not. So, I mean, what sucks for me is that I could have scheduled any number of other guests. Shay Dixon was wanting to come on the show finally again. We didn't schedule him because we had this. I was supposed to get back to a few people on some business opportunities or some offers that I was like, well, this is such a big interview. This is such a big deal. Like, we'll get back to them later on. We put all that shit on hold. We put the day off with my son, which really bothers me the most. He's being watched right now. We're going to go pick him up after this. But, yeah, I just... he's a no-show. He didn't show. Too scared to answer the questions. And we then improvised a show to provide you guys with something because I'm so kind of pissed off. Like, how could you, bro? Like, what the heck? Like, that's just I don't know. Everybody, there's so many of you guys watching. This is awesome. We have some stuff coming out. This game, I'm going to let this game kind of play out to see what happens before we put it out. There's kind of a conveyor belt of things that I'm kind of like, okay, this is going to happen at this moment, and then we're going to wait 2 weeks more, and then this is going to happen. So you're going to have to be patient. It's not like everyone's going to announce they're entering the portal like the second they lose on tomorrow if they lose. Like, it's sometimes these things take a natural kind of road. So I will try my best to not tease or like try and like get you guys going with news and stuff. I'm just going to deliver the fucking goods. Okay. That's what we're going to do, is just deliver the fucking goods. And that's what we do. When we have broken the news, it's very like we tell you it's coming and then boom. Or we just don't tell you it's coming and boom. So however it comes, it's going to come. And there's some things that kind of need to happen and occur for certain things to be announced. You can't just, like, if I were to announce some of these things right now, I'm like it's just fucking nuts for me to do some of those stuff. So, but it's also fucking nuts for people to be leaking this information to someone such as myself in the first place. So, but luckily they leaked it to someone who is actually responsible enough to understand the ramifications if they just threw it out there into the willy-nilly without actually thinking about it and considering the lives. And like, that's the thing. I will never do anything journalistically out of malice. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. So, you know, you'll never catch me in the act of that, because we just want to report the thing. We don't really care about taking someone out or some hit job, you know. Anybody, sorry for the show. Sorry for the absolute no-show by Darius, but what can you do? Thanks, guys.